Let's get to the reason why I became a vegetarian. When I was in high school, I was shown a video of animal cruelty from all over the world. I saw a video of cats stuffed in cages being thrown off trucks and dogs, legs shattering. I've seen dogs hung upside down and slit down the middle. I saw a lot of stuff, basically. And then it became spiritual for me. I felt good, I felt clean. After 2 years, I started eating meat again for a week, and I just felt so disgusted. So I gave it up again. So now I've been a vegetarian for 17 years. But there's more behind it. So come with me so you can see what I'm talking about.
This is your typical American meat being injected.
I'm going to show that clip. But also there was a video made by PETA of these people going into a store to buy purses and belts and so forth. And people opened the purses and there was like beating hearts. The belt on the other side was snakeskin. And it was just like all kinds of things of how a lot of our materials are created by animals, which I'm not knocking down, because Native Americans, they used their animals as sacrifices and they preyed on them and they used them to, you know, thank the gods for giving them that thing to eat. But here's the thing. Population has gotten so crazy. There's a lot of people in the world and things have to be mass produced for people to eat. And now there's like a synthetic meat that's grown that was passed, and people were distracted by the submarine for the Titanic, but that law is being passed that they're going to actually start selling synthetic lab grown meat. Disgusting. But let's get forward. So besides the animal cruelty, seeing the video, spirituality, and so forth, which I'm not knocking people down. If they want to eat meat, you can eat meat, but like, make sure you get your own animal, or go to a farmer or a butcher who will actually raise your animal and then do it for you. Because, like, oh my god, KFC was in the news years ago for the chicken, how they would hang them upside down, cut their beaks off and run them through scalding hot water while they were still alive. And you see a lot of things that say antibiotic free, hormone free, blah blah blah. But there's a video of a lady going around and she says how lies are hidden behind truth, and how they market things and get you to buy things, and that it's not 100% true, just as like ingredient labels and so forth. There's truth behind it, but most of it is a lie. So let's get forward to my research and what I realized throughout the years of being a vegetarian and why I stayed away from eating meat. Let's take vaccines, for instance. COVID. They talk about mass herd immunity. For example, if you put a whole bunch of people in a tight space and one person is sick, eventually they'll all get sick. But if you give them a vaccine or antibiotic, eventually they'll all get it, but they won't get it because they're resistant to it. So what happens to chicken, cows, and pigs and so forth, because they're in such tight spaces in these manufacturer farms, they're rolling around in their feces, urine, and all kinds of shit. So they inject them with antibiotics so that they won't get sick. And then when they cut them and whatever, they inject them with more hormones and more water, because if you've seen some videos, there's people who have meat that arrive and they cut out like green pussy things out of their meat because sometimes the meat gets contaminated. Nasty. But anyway, now you as a human, you're eating this meat that was injected with fillers and hormones to help speed the process of these animals growing, plus the antibiotics, and now you're eating this and now your immunity becomes lower. And when animals die, they release cortisol. So now you're eating extra hormones and extra cortisol, which is why a lot of Americans have heavier midsections and have depression, ADHD, and anxiety, because of all the chemicals that go in it. And then it's the same thing with dairy, yogurt, and so forth, because now they're using the same milk and the same stuff from these animals, and now you're eating it. And then they put like sweeteners and dyes and all kinds of chemicals. Did you know that there's like around 20,000 chemicals that are used in foods and stuff like that? And in the European countries and stuff, they've banned about like, I think 3,000 to 5,000. In the US, we've only banned not under 2,000. A lot of stuff that is in our shit. Nasty. But anyway, because of that, that's why I avoided eating meat. And I'm sure they do it to fruits and veggies and pesticides and so forth and all that stuff. But that's one thing I refuse to eat because it's nasty. And I watched a documentary about how milk is basically pus to us. And that's why when we get pimples, it gets pussy because of the dairy because the milk is only for a cow is only meant for its offspring, and same thing with goats, it's meant for their offspring. So like, could you imagine a cow drinking breast milk from a human? It's not meant for them because the human doesn't have the nutrients for the cow. Same thing with us. The cows and goats and stuff don't have the right nutrients for humans. And then people get lactose intolerant. And then they do this stuff with the crops. Hence, people get gluten sensitive and celiac and so forth. So the best way to do things is to detox and to eat a clean, alkaline, vegetarian diet. And I'm going to show you my detox soup and tea that I made. But like, yeah. And carbohydrates, refined sugars, and refined carbs it's poison. Chocolate, cakes, fried food, it's all fucking poison. That's why we have high blood pressure, diabetes, organ failure, heart failure. And then alcohol is man-made, and yet it's consumed a lot by people, but marijuana is naturally grown, and yet it's illegal in some states. Now it's medically and recreational legal in some states. But like, it's a freaking herb. Like, you're gonna penalize people for smoking an herb? There's a lot wrong. A lot. Currently making my detox soup. And I've already made my detox tea. My detox tea consists of chamomile, cinnamon, honey lavender tea, turmeric, chai, and cardamom. My soup, detox soup, I made my own seasoning. It's paprika, black pepper, pink Himalayan sea salt, oregano, turmeric, dried mint leaves, dried parsley leaves, cumin, curry, garlic and onion. And if I didn't say it, black pepper, and ginger. What I do is I put garlic in the pot, onions in the pot, some carrots, squash, lentils. Pour all that seasoning up in there with a little bit of olive oil and just boil it until it starts boiling. And then when it's done, put it on simmer for a little bit. And there you go. You got your detox soup.